Okay, we are good to go. So good afternoon and welcome to session 3 of day 1 of our first virtual majors and minors week. Historically, this has been an in-person event where we would kind of showcase alumni at different tables so students can come up and ask questions. But I'm even more excited the fact that we get to have an archive of this now. We are going to actually keep this information and share it out to not only our freshman courses here, but also just to any Jaguars at any point of their career so they can really see what alumni are doing. So really psyched that we have this opportunity. I'm really glad we've been able to pivot this in a really cool way. So we are wrapping up on day 1 with the sciences. So we are actually going to have our biology alumni highlighted today. I think biology is a really unique one because biology also very hands-on, but also does require some prep work. So I'm hoping our alumni will kind of share what their journey looked like in regard to, okay, how did they make sure that they're prepared after, graduation? What did life look like for them? So another couple of housekeeping is that for this purpose, we are also going to be using the chat box for this. And this is really just to kind of streamline the process of gathering questions throughout the session. If say a question pops into your mind while they're talking, go ahead and enter into the chat and we'll incorporate it into the discussion. Also making sure to go ahead and mute those mics. In the age of virtual meetings, it's really easy to talk over each other. So we do want to be respectful of each other's, again, voice and time. So making sure that we are muting, again, if we're not speaking. And again, notice that we are recording this and it will be posted within the Tamusa Mays YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. So feel free to rewatch or share this with anybody that you feel could really use this insight. So I just want to do a couple of quick shout outs. First off, academic advising. So we actually do have a representative here, Luisa Garcia, who is one of our academic advisors. So say if anybody has questions about what are some of the courses that are needed for this major, please feel free to ask. And then also just thank you so much, Dr. Mary Kate Cooper, for just being a complete rock star. Dr. Cooper really did help us get this together. She was really a champion of getting our alumni together. So thank you so much for everything that you do for us.
You're very welcome. Happy to do it.
All right, so let's introduce our alum. So first off, we have Brianna Clemons, who's actually a 2018 grad from our biology program. Brianna is working as a laboratory technologist in University Hospital in the core laboratory. And can I first I loved your words of encouragement to our freshman class. Just really uplifting, kind of letting them know to take advantage of those resources, which again is so critical because sometimes you kind of get lost in the process. So thank you for echoing that and reminding them that they're here for them. And then just, again, the positivity, it just screamed in terms of your message. So kudos to you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I'm really glad because it can be a confusing process, but it's well worth it. And there's so much to learn at A&M San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we're also joined by Alex Greig, who is a part of our 2016 class. And Alex actually works with the Texas Biomedical Research Institute as a chimpanzee enrichment specialist. Also, Alex, thank you so much for kind of echoing that undergrad research experience is a huge part of this because that helps really launch careers. Also, the fact that study groups are a pretty strong point of the college journey, making sure to kind of create that community because it helps just having another sound like voice to kind of talk to. And then the final part, the faculty. I think sometimes it's really intimidating, say the freshman class. Maybe it's scary to go up to a faculty member, but knowing that they're there to help you and to really advocate for you, thank you for echoing that and reminding them, talk to your faculty, because also it's probably a really great way to build your own network.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Clarissa.
Thanks. Okay, so because I know we are totally zoomed out at this point of COVID. I want to take off the screens and I just want to be able to everybody see each other here. Again, we're this whole little community. So again, if you feel comfortable using your cams, feel free to go. So we are just going to have a discussion. So the first question I want to ask our alumnus are, if you can tell us about your educational and professional background and really, why did you choose your major in the first place? So Brianna, we'll go ahead and kick it off with you.
So the reason why I chose biology, first of all, as my major, well, one, I really enjoyed dual credit human anatomy and physiology, and I really enjoyed biology. in general, when it would come time to study with classmates, some of my classmates would say, oh, well, let's just do a shortcut and let's just try and figure it out this way. And I would usually be one of the people in the study group saying, no, we actually need to understand the physiological process of what's going on behind the scenes. And I was told that in tutoring sessions, I would always ask the question, well, why does that happen? Why is it working that way? And so I went ahead and decided to pursue the Bachelor of Science in Biology at A&M San Antonio, and it has totally prepared me for my academic endeavors now currently at UT Health San Antonio. And one of the great things about science is there's so many new research topics that are emerging, and that is something that I love about the field of science. It's never, ever boring with biology.
Nice. All right, Alex, what about you?
So I had a little bit of a different path. I switched majors, I think, about 6 times before I discovered my biology roots, which wasn't surprising at all. I'd always been interested in animals as a child, and I somehow got off track through high school and early college. But once I did, it was revolutionary. I'd always had a hard time focusing in all my coursework, and then once I got into my biology classes, I was all of a sudden an A student, and it was a lot easier. So I was there only when we had junior and senior level coursework, which was really neat because I had maybe 12 people in my courses. Louisa, I remember seeing you there in class, and it was definitely a different feel. It was great. Really helped me prepare for the job market outside of school.
Nice. So next question I have for y'all are, what are some of the key skills that you're using in your current roles? And how did your degree actually prepare you for that launch? Alex, we'll go ahead and get started with you on this one.
Sure thing. One of the things I had to learn very quickly was problem solving. When you're in a lab, things go wrong a lot, and you have to be quick on your feet and be able to apply the scientific method really to figure out what is the problem and how best to solve it, because a lot of times you don't have the specialized parts or the time necessary to get it properly fixed at that moment. So it's really good to be quick on your feet.
Yeah, those transferableness, right? Did you see that a lot of your coursework did translate to what you do now?
Yeah, most of our coursework in biology taught us to systematically find the problem and find the answer, which, it's the deductive reasoning required for biologists.
Right, Brianna?
Absolutely. And something that I learned a whole lot at A&M San Antonio, especially from Dr. Valdez, specifically one of the professors, is to pay attention to detail. I actually had the opportunity to conduct undergraduate research with him my last semester at A&M San Antonio. And so that was really cool because I got to learn firsthand how to conduct a research study and the details that go into that. Because now that I work in the core lab at University Hospital with actual patient specimens, I have to pay very, very close attention to detail, because if there is a little mistake that occurs, that can be very detrimental to a patient, and that will reflect to the doctors that something's going wrong. And so just paying attention to minute details and being very careful with results that I end up finding from the analyzer or whatever results that are generated from a test, to ensure that those are actually sent to the right professor, and that way that they actually can treat the patient. So it goes along with accuracy, and it goes along with just really watching out with attention to detail.
So kind of going back to your time here at the university, what were those experiences that really were your highlights that really felt like prepared you for life after graduation? Just to make sure that students know, hey, these are probably things I need to kind of pay attention to as I'm going through my coursework or as I'm completing each year. Alex?
Yeah, well, like Brianna mentioned, the undergraduate research was almost the defining moment for me in school, and that is what got me into the animal behavior field in a whole. And I had amazing mentors. I had Dr. Ross was my undergraduate research advisor, and she led me to national meetings to present my research. She helped me develop the professional connections I needed and taught me all the training that I would need, essentially, to be an animal behaviorist.
Brianna?
That's excellent. So something that was really awesome for me is that I was able to actually be a student worker, and I was under the employment of Miss Marie Page. She's really sweet, and she's just one of the laboratory, I believe, directors or owners at A&M San Antonio. And it was really awesome because I got to learn how to make the actual agar that goes into the microbiology petri dishes, and that is used for immunology and microbiology. And I also got to learn how to do dilutions. That's very necessary in the chemistry field of medical laboratory science. So I saw a lot of different similarities at A&M San Antonio, pushing me into UT Health. And so I really think that not just the professors giving the lectures to students, for us to actually pay attention to what they're saying, because that actually carries on into, if we go into another field that is outside of the bachelor's degree. And so another thing to piggyback off of that is learning a whole lot of just different teaching methods from the professors, not having just one professor, but having 3, 4, 5 other professors, and adapting to how they teach. That really set me up for success.
Nice. So I kind of want to go back to, Alex, how you talked about mentorship. You mentioned that. And that's actually been a common word that's being used in each of these discussions where a mentor really did help transform somebody's career path. What advice would you have for a student even trying to approach, finding a mentor? How do they do that? And also, what do they look for in terms of seeing, is this a good mentorship fit for me?
Right. Really, you have to find what's interesting to you. While you're taking your coursework, find the professors you enjoy their classes, and then maybe after class, ask them if they're doing any of their own research. A lot of the professors I know have their own labs. Dr. Wise, Dr. Valdez, and ask them if they happen to have any projects you can work on, or if you're lucky, they actually have an opening in their lab for you to work. They're just people. Just approach them and ask. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, the concept of faculty being human, it's a thing. They're totally normal people. Brianna, so you had mentioned, so student employment kind of being your launching pad. Was that the first time that you had worked in like the sciences in any way? And how did you handle that?
So yes, it actually was the first time that I actually worked in the science department in general. I was a full-time student, so it taught me time management as a whole perspective. And that really helped because now that I'm employed in a lab over at University Hospital, learning the time management of doing multiple tests at once and producing effective results at the same time without having a mishap. So one of the great things is that I would be given a list of duties that needed to be performed, whether that was electrophoresis, whether that was setting up a scavenger hunt for the freshmen, biology style. That was so much fun. Whatever it was, just having to have that set of different lists that I needed to do, getting them completed, and then learning from my mistakes, because that's the thing. Like Alex was saying, sometimes things go wrong in the lab. You really just learn from your mistakes and you just own up to your responsibilities. So I'm just really thankful for that. But I think also the friends that I made at A&M San Antonio through my study groups, those connections really helped, and they really have just made it a better experience for me.
Nice. So I want to go to challenges then. I'm curious because I think with college, everyone assumes, okay, you go in with a plan of action. You're like, I'm set, I'm good. But then sometimes you may experience like an internship that you're like, ooh, I don't want to do this after all. Or maybe that was that really tough class that maybe questioned what direction you want to go into. I'm curious, what is a challenge that you faced, maybe your greatest challenge, your learning moment, and how did you get past that to get where you are now?
So for me, it was definitely the concept of passing organic chemistry. That is a really difficult class. A lot of people say that that is like learning a totally new language. And I did pass the first time, but I was very unpleased with my grade. So I went ahead and I talked to Dr. Bob Shelton. I believe he's still there. He's a great professor. And I went ahead and decided to go ahead and retake the class so that I could further understand it. And I also invested in a molecular model kit that is only $20 off of Amazon. And that really just helped with the concept of knowing how organic chemistry works as a whole. And I got tutoring that really helped out, and learning organic chemistry, not to be a big time master at it, just understanding the concepts really helped, because now in the chemistry department at University Hospital, there are some principles of organic chemistry that I've had to recall back to memory. So it served me to understand organic chemistry, get through it, understand the concepts, and take it with me as I've gone through. But by all means, I am not an organic chemist.
Oh, that dreaded organic chem. I hear everything from every bio major. They're like, why? So yeah, we even got a little heart from Melinda. So I think we got some agreement there. All right, Alex, what about you?
In school, one of my biggest challenges was learning to study properly. I had skated through the alum colleges kind of by the seat of my pants for a few years. And when I finally came face to face with Dr. Ross's memology course, is when my friends and I in our study group, we learned we had to buckle down, and it really was 3 or 4 hours a day of studying in order for her absolutely brutal lab practicals. I mean, 145 specimens by common and scientific name. It was difficult, but being able to learn how to memorize things in this brute force fashion really helped us further on in, say, organic chemistry, where you have a lot of processes that you need to know where each electron goes.
Nice. Yeah, I was a business undergrad, so I'm completely just like in all of y'all, just FYI, just putting that out there. So now I want to know, I want to talk about the wins. What has been your favorite, professional project? And then also, what was your favorite academic project while you were here? So Alex, we'll start with you.
My favorite project right now is a current one for us. The NIH just came to us to form a working group for all of the chimpanzee behaviorists in the country to get together to discuss and collaborate for projects on how to better take care of our animals, as there are quite a few in the country, and they're all retired from biomedical research now, so it's our job just to give them their best life. And that's given us some really neat insight with data and people that I didn't even know existed. Now, my favorite academic project, I'd have to go back to my research experience with Dr. Ross, is we did research with marmoset monkeys, which are about the size of a squirrel, and we were working on a test of executive function, which is essentially a monkey's ability to plan ahead and to withhold urges, I guess is your best term for it. So we wanted to see if they could withhold their response for a better treat. So we had a little conveyor belt that we would pass in front of them, and they either had the choice of grabbing the first item they saw on the belt or waiting for a better treat the second time around. And it really was a fun project.
Oh, cool. Very, very cool stuff. All right, Brianna?
So something that's really awesome is just the emergence of the test for COVID-19. I am really just happy to say that I've seen the work of the microbiology program over at University Hospital, and just the testing that they've come up with to generate the results for COVID-19. I've learned a lot in the program at UT Health San Antonio about sensitivity and specificity of a test. And not just that, but I think one of the cool projects of being an MLS, a future MLS, medical laboratory scientist, is getting to do CAP specimen testing, which is basically from the College of American Pathologists lab, and they send their specimens. Well, our results get compared to numerous hospitals and numerous labs all over the United States, checking to make sure that they're correct results that are being generated, to increase patient care as a whole. And I would say at A&M San Antonio, one of my favorite projects to be a part of would had to have been with Dr. Valdez doing the undergraduate research, because I got to actually have the subjects in the research. They were actually my classmates. So that was really, really cool. And it was actually a study where they didn't know what ergonomic tool they were going to use, because it was testing on the ergonomics of the hand and stress as a student. So I tested saliva cortisol samples, and I wanted to test if whether or not the person that was using an ergonomic gardening tool that was harder to manipulate, if that actually induced more stress on them, or if it actually induced more stress to use an easier tool, meaning some people might think, oh, this is too easy for me, and that actually stresses them out. So that was really awesome to be a part of, and I'll never forget it. It took a lot of efficient time to actually get it going, because I actually had to plan ahead, and sometimes people would back out of the study, so I had to find people who would, be able to step in. But it taught me a whole lot, and I will never forget it. I'm really thankful to Dr. Valdez for giving me that opportunity.
Nice. Shout out to that time management skill going back, right? So our freshman course, they actually just went through time management lessons a couple of weeks ago. So FYI, guys, it still matters even after graduation. Use it. Now, I want to go back. So, you're an undergrad all over again, freshman year. What is a piece of advice you would offer your undergrad self? So, Brianna, first on this one. It's a big moment, right? You're like, oh, what would I say?
It is. I believe sometimes as a freshman, you might feel like, oh man, I got to figure out exactly what I have to do. I got to figure out exactly what my job is going to be. And that answer is not so much. Honestly, your first year, you are getting your feet wet with the different disciplines as far as your Texas core. I actually went to community colleges as well. I know Alexander Greig had said that. And so that's the same story for me. So in my freshman year, I actually wanted to see, do I like history? Yes, I'm a science buff and I love science, but maybe I actually like forensics. Maybe it's not forensics. So knowing what you really like, pay attention to what classes that you don't mind studying more for, that might actually have your passion. And once you follow your passion and you're in that field that lines up with your passion, you feel like you're never having to actually work a day in your life. You're getting paid to do something that you enjoy. And I feel like that's just something that everybody wants. And it's not hard to find. All you have to do is just realize, this is what I like to study. This is what gets me up in the morning. This is what motivates me. You find that, you find your passion, and you will find that career that you really enjoy.
I'm motivated just from that. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right, but what about you, Alex? So going back in time, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I have to follow that up. That was inspiring. I would have to say the one thing that I would like to tell myself was to stop procrastinating. It is so much easier to absorb a little bit of information every day, maybe a few pages of each textbook, than it is to try and cram the entire chapter in the night before an exam. And I know because I've done it so many times and I regretted it every time. Once I became an actual student and figured it out, things become so less stressful and you learn so much better.
Very, very good. So I'm also curious, so both of y'all have already launched careers that they match up into your major. What did that process look like? How did y'all explore it more so, like say that junior year and such? So Alex, I'll start with you and then Brianna.
So it was tricky getting into the field. There are very few jobs in some places and they're very competitive. I had thought that I was going to go straight into grad school afterwards, and then I decided I would prefer a few years of experience in the field first. And so while I was in my junior year and senior years doing my undergraduate research, I got the chance to go to the American Society of Primatologists meeting up in Oregon, where I met a lot of the professors doing research across the country. And it was a massive group of researchers. And I got to talk to their graduate students and get an idea of what people are doing and what is what is a good path to be taking if that is your end goal. And I then found some friends who are working for UT Health, and I managed to get into a little lab there right out of school. I worked there for about 2 years doing behavioral research with rodents, and from there a job opening became available here at Texas Biomedical, and it was with chimpanzees, which is a huge jump from rodent lab, of course. But because I had had that previous primate research experience, I was able to secure the job here, and it's been life-changing. My job is incredible. I couldn't be happier anywhere else.
Nice. Brianna?
That is awesome. So yeah, it is a little bit difficult to find a job sometimes immediately right after graduation. And partly that might be because, well, biology, it's a huge field, covers so many different things. You have ecology, you have microbiology, you have environmental science, you've got even invertebrate zoology. And then I remember taking vertebrate zoo over with Dr. Ross. And yes, that was a very rough class because it was a whole lot of species to memorize, and her labs are very hard, but I learned a lot in her class. And so all that to say that I actually had the interest to possibly pursue maybe not just medical lab science. I knew I wanted to do something medical, but then I would always realize, man, I really enjoy the microscope. I really enjoy seeing life under the microscope. It is an entire different world. I enjoy problem solving, figuring things out. And so I went ahead and I applied for the job at University Hospital, and realizing that I did get hired. Thankfully, my bachelor's of science in biology is a big time credential that they accepted. However, if I wanted to possibly see an increase in pay, and if I wanted to do higher complexity testing rather than just moderate complexity testing, I needed to go for my certification. And so that actually pinpointed me to go back to school and pursue my current master's degree. I will be done in August 2021, so that's really soon. I'm excited. Yes. So it was just a decision I had to make. But if I had not pursued the Bachelor of Science in Biology at A&M San Antonio, there's no way I would have gotten in at University Hospital. And I'm just so thankful for that because I really do enjoy my job. I have learned so much. I feel like the field of medical laboratory science is not really talked about a whole lot. But one little interesting facet is that Dr. Ross, who is actually one of the professors of biology at A&M San Antonio, talked about medical laboratory science at UT Health San Antonio. And in class, being that we were studying for her exams, she announced it and everyone's like, oh, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. But then I get to UT Health and I realized, oh my goodness, Dr. Rushing was the one that talked about this. So it's definitely an opportunity, I think, for students that if they really enjoy the lab, realize at A&M San Antonio, the labs are great. They're very hands-on. Your professors really do care about you. They care about you understanding the material. And if you just like to do lab, then pursue medical laboratory science because you get paid to work in a lab.
Yeah. Awesome. So, okay, I know sciences, we talk about GPA. GPA is a factor sometimes, right? Especially if you are looking at graduate school or internships. It is a challenging program. What are some other strategies that you would suggest, just to kind of ease the difficultness of the coursework, perhaps? Alex, on this one?
I would have to say that forming a study group is your number one tool to surviving. My study group was incredible. We had huge, diverse group. We would come in every morning at about 6 o'clock in the morning and secure our usual study room, and we would hold on to it throughout the day until maybe 8, 9 o'clock at night some nights. And we all took mostly the same courses. A few of us would branch off into different ones, but we were all able to get up there with the whiteboards and, teach each other the best we could. And by learning to teach other people the subject matter, you learn it so much better yourself. So it's really useful to have that study group. I'm still friends with most of my study group. Some of them were at my wedding. They're lifelong connections.
You were in the trenches together, essentially. Brianna, do you have anything else to add on to that?
Actually, yes. I would say as much as a student may think, oh, I don't have time for anything. I have to study, study, study. No, you have to give your brain a break and realize that it's okay to be involved in other organizations. I am so thankful that I was part of the Pre-Health Society on campus that was founded by Angeli Almendarez. And that was really just a great society to be a part of because there were dental, future PAs, also future possible surgeons, just a whole lot of different health professions that were in this society. And it offered me volunteer hours. We had really nice banquets. Let me tell you, those banquets were nice because they had really great food. And it was just really great to be commemorated for our hard work being officers. And not just that, the biology club is also great, chemistry club. They actually one time baked a whole bunch of cupcakes and they made it the periodic table out of those cupcakes. That was so, so cool. I didn't even want to eat that cupcake because I thought, I'm going to eat a chemical element. This is so cool. So just getting involved, be a part of the Festival de Cascarones. Now with COVID, understandably, it's a little bit different. Try to be as involved as you can. Even with informative Zoom sessions, they definitely are a great alternative. And yeah, just got to get out there and just do something more than just studying. Studying is great, but also get involved, I'd have to say.
I completely echo that because that's actually something we get from employers where they not only want to see the academic experience, but they also want to see, well, how are you involved on your campus community? Again, were you a leader in any organizations? Yeah, pre-health I think is a phenomenal one because it also creates that community where, say, organic chem is coming. They all kind of gather together, and then plus they are very intentional making sure that you understand what is it like to apply for med school. So knowing volunteerism is going to be a part of that, that shadowing, so students know that before they graduate and so they can be better equipped. So thank you for mentioning that. Now, another question I have is, what are some additional resources that you would really suggest for students to tap into if they really want to kind of maybe explore the career paths that you are on right now? So Brianna, I'll start with you and then Alex.
So for sure, definitely check out University of Texas Health Science Center San Antonio.com. And when you get there, go to the search bar and just type in medical laboratory science. You will see everything on there for possibly being an applicant. I will tell you right now, usually for every applicant, by the time they get to 3 months before graduation date, there is usually 3 jobs that are lined up for them. That is a statistic that they have on their website. And I am actually friends with some of the students who graduated 2020. And some of them were telling me, oh my goodness, I have 4 jobs lined up. I need to choose which lab I want to go work for. Do I want to go work for South Texas Blood and Tissue or Methodist Hospital or over in Laredo? And it's amazing to have those kind of choices for being in such an awesome program. Just definitely great to just look into medical laboratory science. Another great thing besides University of Texas Health Science Center is just Google medical laboratory scientist, and you can see what it's like for a day in the life. Not all labs don't have windows. Some actually do have windows. And lab people, I know sometimes they can be a little bit connotated to be, oh, they're in a dark corner or they're in the back of the lab. They're all just nerdy. Yes, we're nerdy, but let me tell you, we're just really normal human beings. It's just we tend to have to know how to calculate things fairly quickly, or if not, we have a calculator on hand. So I would just have to say, check out that website and you should find resources from there. Apply, apply, apply.
Right, Alex?
I would say that there is a website called primateinfo.net, and I can share the link with you, Clarissa, later, that has an amazing email chain that people will post every job that you can imagine that has to do with working with primates. And that includes internships, unpaid and paid jobs, caretakers, researchers. It's a fantastic resource. And while you're a student, use that to your advantage. Professional societies like the American Society of Primatologists offer student discounts, and they are much cheaper that way than they would be for like me. It can be as low as I've seen $25 per year for some societies compared to $200 or $300 when you finally get out of school.
Yeah, completely agree. If you can get a student membership, go with it. For one of mine, I think I pay $120 for just the local. I'm not even the national's like 300. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. But our students here, they get to pay $40 and they get the national plus the local. I'm like, oh, that's a sweet deal. Plus they get to apply for scholarships. I'm like, yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Again, very much appreciate it. Also, again, in case anybody has questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Louisa, I want to touch base with you from the academic advising side. What advice would you have for a student that is considering a biology major? Mute. Hold on. You need to unmute.
Okay. Sorry. This technology stuff. I want to say that while Brianna and Alex were at A&M, I probably saw them. I've been here for a long time. But I would say as an advisor point of view, biology is one of those degrees that requires a lot of work. You have a lot of sciences that you have to take: biology, chemistry, physics, and possibly even calculus. And sometimes you have to take those classes together. So make sure you plan out your semester. Make sure you don't overwhelm yourself with too much coursework. As Alex and Brianna had mentioned, time management is definitely a big thing when you're pursuing this program. What else? Definitely tutoring. Highly recommend doing the tutoring. Doing group sessions, get together with classmates. Don't be shy. Everybody's kind of in the same boat. Everybody wants to be successful. And as Alex mentioned, it's good to kind of get into a group because you kind of go off each other and review notes, review presentations, kind of get like, I remember this, do you remember that? Or, things like that. So definitely group. Kind of like what Brianna said, definitely start looking at the undergraduate research projects or research studies. That's a great opportunity to kind of look into what areas you might be interested in. Each instructor is going to have their own specialization. There's going to be like the plant area, the medical or the cellular area, or the wildlife. So whichever area you're kind of interested or you want to venture into, definitely start talking to those instructors to do the undergraduate research projects, because that's a great opportunity too. And as an advisor point of view, as Brianna and Alex probably did, is definitely meet with your advisor at least once a semester, just to ensure you're on the right track, just to ensure what courses do I need to take next, what are the course sequencing. Sometimes with biology, there's rotation of classes, so there's only certain classes that can only be taken like in the fall term or in the spring term. So you want to ensure that you take classes that you want to take in the specific semester you want to take it. And then as well, kind of look at your emails. This is an advisor standpoint. Look at your emails. You guys do get a lot of emails. Yes, some are junk emails, but some are emails from professors, from the department, from the advisors, especially with registration. Registration is going to come up soon. So definitely start planning out what you're going to take next semester. If you have no idea, you need some guidance, talk to your advisor. What else? I'm not sure if when Brianna or Alex were here, we actually have an HPAC with the science department, which will help students. It's kind of cool. This committee, it's basically the biology faculty, will help students transition or push forward on any health related field. So if they're interested in pre-medical, pre-health, PA, anything in the medical field, they actually will assist or mentor the student through the process of graduating, ensuring they get the grades needed for that particular program, and also getting them ready to apply, getting all those reference letters, things like that. So it's actually something that the science department now has. I think when you guys were here, we didn't have that yet. So it is available now. The science department does have that available for students. So once you already know what you want to do, whether it be like a medical field, a health related field, um, you could definitely reach out to the faculty for that as well. And then, of course, definitely talk to your advisor if you have any questions. Should I drop a class? Should I keep it? When's the last day I can drop for classes? Anything that you need to discuss before you make a decision, you could definitely reach out to us. We do have success coaches as well. Mm-hmm. So if you need, somebody to help with time management, study skills, we have that too. So there's a lot of resources out there. And even with the May Center, if you're not unsure about you want to do biology or what can I do with biology, May Center is a great area that can kind of help you with pinpointing what can I do with this degree. As Brianna has mentioned, there's just so many avenues with a biology degree. It's not just pre-med. It's so much more. As you can see, you have research with Alex, and you have experimental stuff with Brianna. So it's so much out there. You can do so much. So again, this is the advisor mode. Definitely set up an appointment with your advisor. Registration for the upcoming semester is going to be late October. The class schedule itself should be out in mid-October, so it'll be viewable. The schedule for priority registration is already out there. So it is on the website, so you can kind of take a look at the classification and when you'll be able to register. And then again, if you have any questions, any concerns, or you want to review stuff, please schedule an appointment with your advisor. You can actually do it online through your Jaguar, or you can call the front office at, are you ready? 210-784-1307. Again, 210-784-1307. All right, I think that's it.
Academic advisors, they can make your life so much easier if you just go and ask for some advice. Like, okay, when do I take this class? What do I do? Because prereqs are a real thing, so you need to know that. So because I'm selfish also, because May Center, I want to make sure that students do know, if you have questions about the major, again, is this a right fit for me? Encouraging internship and externships. Job shadowing days, that's actually something we've recently really pushed forward. We've actually done some job shadowing days with local hospitals, so students can not only see the medical side, but also the business operations side in case they weren't familiar with that. It's like, oh, whole new area. So do that. And then don't forget to also talk and have those conversations again with faculty, but even alumni. I think informational interviewing, just asking those questions like, what's something you wish you knew before you got out? Or, how did you get past this class? What was that like? Ask those questions now. We get all this information out before a student graduates versus, hey, I'm about to walk stage in a week and I don't have a plan of action. Or can I apply for grad school even though the deadline's tomorrow? It's like, let's be proactive here, right? Let's be smart about our time. So thank you so much, Brianna and Alex, for your time. Luisa, again, for your wonderful knowledge. I am going to do a couple of shameless plugs because we have an extra few moments here because I'm sneaky like that, y'all. So I do want to push the fact, again, we are continuing these conversations. We really are excited to be welcoming a whole new group of alumni tomorrow and Thursday. But then also, can you all see the screen okay?
Yes.
Good deal. Okay. So we also are working on Workforce Wednesdays, in which we're highlighting different industries here in San Antonio just to kind of see, well, what does the world of work actually look like? So we'll actually have an alumnus coming out next week to talk about his IT track. But our all majors career fair is coming up. Now that's something where I think sometimes underclassmen are like, there's not a place for me, but these are actually internships that are also being recruited for. So we need you to know that because internships, the nice thing is a lot of them are virtual right now. What's happening again with the work environment, that students are having an opportunity to work in a virtual setting, but also understanding when to apply for internship is so important. Say if you're like, I want to intern in the summer, there's some agencies that are recruiting right now. So we rather you be ahead of the curve than, oh, I waited before like maybe I applied in April, maybe there's a limited number of slots. So we want to be smart again with our time. And then again, if you do have any questions along the way, please do not hesitate to ask. The Mays Center, we are still open and in business. We are seeing students virtually for the most part, but we also are still seeing some students in person for virtual and in-person drop-ins on Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 2. So if that is a better fit for you, please, again, stop by and ask, because we want to, again, be proactive with your time and your efforts here at A&M San Antonio. Okay, so again, thank y'all so much for your time and the conversation.
Thank you, alumni. Thank you,
y'all
alumni.
are fantastic. So thank you, Alex and Brianna, Louisa, Dr. Cooper, like complete rock stars.
You make our alma mater look great.
Yes, you do. Thank you, Clarissa, for putting this together as well.
Thank you, Clarissa.
All right, well, thank y'all. Have a wonderful afternoon. Again, be on the lookout. This will be on YouTube in the next 24 hours, okay?
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.